Julian's personal piety and intellectual cultural interests are reflected in his surviving writings, which show considerable learning and some literary talent. They include polemics, theological and satirical works, and a collection of letters, public and private. Of his anti-Christian critique against the Galileans, only fragments remain. His own philosophic ideology was rooted in Iamblichus Neoplatonism, theurgy, magic. How forcefully it impinged on his public religious reforms is controversial. On one view, they were directed more to the founding of a Neoplatonist pagan church, very similar to the church we would see today, the Catholic Church, but instead of having a trinity, you would have the gods, you would have the Great Mother, you would have Father Saturn, you would have Holy Bacchus, the Savior, Athena, wisdom, those type of deities. Greco-Roman polytheism founded within Neoplatonist philosophy, and the potential to appeal to a mass of contemporary pagans was correspondingly limited due to the rise of monotheism. Julian's epistle to the Alexandrians is as follows. As the founder of your city was Alexander the Great, and your ruler and deity King Serapis, together with the virgin Isis, his associate, queen of all Egypt. You do not emulate a healthy city, but the deceased part dares to arrogate to it, self the name of the whole city. By the gods, men of Alexandria, I should be very much ashamed if, in short, any Alexandrian should acknowledge himself to be a Galilean. The ancestors of the Hebrews were formerly slaves to the Egyptians, but now, men of Alexandria, you, the conquerors of Egypt, for Egypt was conquered by your father, sustain a voluntary servitude to the despisers of your national dogmas in opposition to your ancient sacred institutions, and you do not recollect your former felicity, when all Egypt had communion with the gods and we enjoyed an abundance of good. But tell me, what advantage has occurred to your city from those who now introduce among you a new religion? Your founder was that pious man Alexander Macedon, who did not, by Jupiter, resemble any one of these or any of the Hebrews who far excelled them. Even Ptolemy, the son of Lagus, was also superior to them. As to Alexander, if he had encountered, he would have endangered even Romans. What then did the Ptolemies who succeeded your founder, educating your city like their own daughter? From her infancy, they did not bring her to maturity, but the discourses of Jesus, nor did they construct the form of government through which she is now happy by the doctrine of the odious Galileans. Thirdly, after the Romans became its masters, taking it from the bad government of the Ptolemies, Augustus visited your city and thus addressed your citizens, men of Alexandria, I acquit your city of all blame, out of the regard of the great god Serapis, and also for the sake of the people and the grandeur of the city. A third cause of my kindness to you is my friend Arius. This Arius, the companion of Augustus Caesar and philosopher, was your fellow citizen. The particular favors conferred on your city by the Olympic gods were, in short, such as these. Many more, not to prolix, I admit. But those blessings which the apparent gods bestow in common every day, not on one family, nor in one single city, but on the whole world. Why do you not acknowledge? Are you alone, insensible of the splendor that flows from the sun? Are you alone, ignorant that the summer and winter are produced by him, and that all things are alone vivified and alone germinate from him? Do you not also perceive the great advantages that accrue to your city from the moon? From him and by him, the fabricator of all things. Yet you dare not worship either of these deities, but this Jesus, whom neither you nor your fathers have seen, you think must necessarily be God, the Logos, while him, from eternity, every generation of mankind has seen and sees and venerates and venerating lives happily. I mean the mighty Helios, a living, animated, intellectual, beneficent image of the intelligible Father you despise. If, however, you listen to my admonitions, you will, by degrees, return to the truth. You will not wander from the right path. If you will be guided by him who, to the 20th year of his age, pursued that road, but has now worshipped the gods for near 12 years. That is one out of many of the epistles written by Julian the Apostate on the Christians and the old gods. And so, when Julian the Apostate was killed during a battle against the Parthians, the Christians regained control of the Roman Empire. And all the plans to start a new Neoplatonist church fell. And all the plans to restore Jerusalem back to the Jewish priests fell as well. And Christianity would never be challenged in Rome ever again. Julian the Apostate, in my opinion, almost saved the world from the Dark Ages. I believe that if Julian would have been successful, the world would have had a much faster scientific revolution under the Neoplatonist. Now, I cannot demonstrate this, nor can I prove it, but I believe this by looking at the past and how the Greeks were very advanced in their science and did not let dogmatic religious superstition overtake the drive for knowledge and science. This is why I believe that whatever type of church Julian the Apostate would have put forth would have been better for the world. There would have been less anti-Semitism, and there would have been more progressive inclinations. With that being said, Julian the Apostate is forever will go down as one of the greatest Roman emperors of all time. And his death would mark the end of the Constantine dynasty, which ironically started off with the first Christian emperor and ends with the last pagan emperor.